The number one most important precondition for any positive future in Gaza, for any resolution of the Gaza situation whatsoever, the main course of that meal is dislodging Hamas from power, removing them, disarming them.
Nothing else matters if that ain't done.
Nothing else matters if that isn't done. Nothing else can happen if that isn't done. And that's specifically what is left most vague and least committal in the document. And sure enough, here we are. And it is many, many months later since the 20-point plan was announced, I think at the beginning of October or late September, somewhere around there. Yeah. And we haven't progressed anywhere. There's officially a board of peace and whatever. They meet occasionally in Cairo or whatever. It's irrelevant. Nothing is progressing whatsoever on that front. Why? Because we can't get to phase 2. There is no phase 2. Right? There's no phase 2 because you can't get to phase 1. And Witkoff and Kushner, this was one of their deals. And I thought to myself, wow, this is really, Hanan Geffen really hit on something. This is the way, and then I kind of got into the psychology of it because I don't think Witkoff's a bad guy. I mean, he obviously wants to make money.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
seems like a sweet guy. Oh, have you met him? Have you met Steve Witkoff?
I have, yeah. I've interviewed him up on stage, and he was
really
lovely. And when I was talking to him about the hostages, he had tears in his eyes. I think he cares deeply.
I believe,
and I know you believe that because we spoke about this as well. But that doesn't mean that these deals actually result in what needs to occur for there to be actual significant change and an outcome, because there hasn't been yet.
That's exactly it. So when he, he's a real estate developer from New York. So is Jared Kushner. And they're both really well-meaning people. And it could be that some of that lovely Steve Witkoff empathy that makes him so likable, and he seems like a sweet, sweet guy, is actually part of his problem, that he assumes everyone has some positive motives, and he's trying to look for the best, and he's trying to look for a way to make deals with people. The problem is that in a real estate deal in New York, you can just let's have a general agreement that we want to move forward, and let's agree on, the basics, and we'll work out the details down the road. And if the deal falls through, okay, it fell through, and we kind of take our losses and lick our wounds and move on to the next deal. That's the way negotiating works. So he's a good deal closer, and he got a deal in Gaza, except that the deal in Gaza he got is not being implemented at all. And it looks like Hanan Geffen nailed it. That this deal that we're about to see, there's going to be a big signing ceremony and Trump's grandiose language about peace, and it's not going to get past first base. It's not going to get anywhere. So in a way that's good news. The problem is it's going to be blamed on the Israelis, because I read Iranian state media every day, multiple Iranian state media outlets, and almost every article on Iranian state media for the last few days has been about Lebanon. And have been about how Lebanon has to be included in this. And it's not just the Iranians saying it. If it was just the Iranian state media claiming that Lebanon is part of this deal, I would take it with a massive grain of salt. But the Pakistani foreign minister said it the other day also, that Lebanon is part of this deal. And the Israelis, Prime Minister Netanyahu was very quick after the deal was announced to go to social media and say, and also official government press office press release of Prime Minister Netanyahu's statement, to say that Israel is not party to this deal and Israel is not bound by this deal. And when Israel just refuses to be part of this charade because we actually care about defending our own borders and our own security, and we're not going to go along with this nonsense just because Trump thinks it's a way to get the straits open, and this and pretending that there's been regime change, and pretending that this is a new group of people who aren't the same as the original regime when they're still executing people every day. There's a lot of folly in this, Aaron. We're in a very fraught moment, but the silver lining is exactly what Hanan Geffen said. This story is far from over. It's far from over.
Rabbi, final question. Where is Marco Rubio? I watched the entirety of Trump's comments, the meetings with the Qataris, and we had Marco Rubio, Bessent was there, a few others sitting along, and I've never seen Rubio look more uncomfortable, look down at his feet almost the entire time. And third point I'd make is that if you watch other press conferences or when Zelensky is there and Rubio is there, he generally nods along as Trump talks. And that's something we all do. I do it when you're talking to me here. I kind of, I'm an active listener and I'm engaging and I'm agreeing with a lot of what you say. Rubio did not do that. And he hasn't been as he normally would, which is a public face and talking about this. Where is he?
I think Marco Rubio is not comfortable standing going on all the late night shows and the cable shows and defending this deal. I think it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't fit with the way he views things. It's funny, the interesting reversal in the early days of the war and in the lead up to the war. J.D. Vance was kind of AWOL. Like I think he was on like a diplomatic trip to Azerbaijan or something. Like he was just not around. And now J.D. Vance is selling this deal on all the talk shows.
Megyn Kelly, The View.
Oh, he's going on all the shows. CBS, NBC, CNN. He's going everywhere. He was on Jesse Waters.
Well. He's trying to sell a book. But he's and another interesting point. I saw Megyn Kelly, just a clip from it where she'd asked him, what did the president say when you said you were coming on the show? Because remember, it's not that Megyn Kelly was critical of the war or that she, disagrees on different things. She was essentially calling Trump a rapist like last month. And the vice president is now going on her show. And he said when he told the president, this is the J.D. Vance saying, she said, I love Megyn. I mean, I struggle to comprehend.
You never know with Trump. And Trump also might find it a good thing because he needs to win over Megyn's audience again. And if he can send JD over there to talk nice to them,
absolutely.
I believe that Trump would be very favorable to JD going on Megyn's show. He needs to keep his coalition together. And if they like JD more than they like him, so send JD out as a surrogate. That's actually a good strategy. But look, it's true. Your observation is a good one that Marco Rubio has not really been around much. I think it's also good to listen to General Jack Keane. When we listen to him every day, he's got a lot of clarity, and he's been speaking very openly about the problems with this deal. But listen, Megyn, my big message to you and to your audience is we've been through a lot of bumps in the road. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and every time there's a 1 step back, we all scream that the sky is falling. Let's relax because the story is far, far, far from over. This deal will not be successful. It will fall apart in the coming weeks. The Iranians are going to drive too hard a bargain. Does that make it more difficult to reverse course as we get closer to the midterms? Of course it does. Does it bring other dangers with the Israeli elections coming and who knows what happens in the midterms? Of course it does. The biggest mistake, the original sin here was stopping the kinetic activity on April 8th. And Trump, and the longer it went on, the more Trump had an incentive to never go back to kinetic activity. As soon as the Iranians got wind of that, they knew exactly what they needed to do, and their strategy has worked perfectly. But there is still time for Trump to reverse course. We'll see.
Yeah, Rabbi, thank you. And I'm so glad you brought up General Jack Keane. I've watched 2 of his full interviews since this deal, this continuation, whatever you want to call it. And he was quite confronting when it came to Sean Hannity as well, kind of said, Sean, you know this as well, because Sean was kind of running a little bit of cover. And then he was on yesterday as well with a young host. And he said about it's a mistake. And I think we should have continued with, kinetic warfare and the strangulation financially and gone from there. He's brilliant, Jack. As are you. Brilliant, Thank Jack. You. I should never call it General Jack. I meant to say the General Jack. My mother will kill me. Rabbi, thank you so much. Of course, everyone, if you want to kind of cut out the middleman, which is me, go straight to Rabbi Wolicki's own YouTube channel. It's phenomenal. And a lot of views on this last video, and I understand why. So thank you so much for sharing it with us as well.
Thank you very much, Aaron. God bless you.
Thank you so much for watching. He's absolutely brilliant. If you want more from this channel, sign up to be a member. Extra videos just for you. First look at our everyday channel videos, plus other perks as well. All above board, by the way, you dirty dogs.